Welcome to StraightioLab,
an intellectual podcast about straight culture.
and also a stupid podcast about nothing.
Don't say that.
It's just true. I don't want to lie to our listeners.
I'm George Civeris.
And I'm Sam Taggart.
And this is StraightioLab.
Podcast starts now. Okay, podcast starts now. What's up, every podcast listener across the globe? Hope you're enjoying your commute or your little walk.
I've never heard you sound so mocking of our listeners.
I think a little contempt goes a long way.
I completely agree, in fact.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll be recording and I'll actually think about the fact that someone is listening to this on their headphones and I'll be like, loser. It's so embarrassing, so humiliating.
Well,
Making your stew.
Don't even get me wrong. The opposite is like the worst.
You're like, oh, my phone is on the New York Times cooking app, but it takes up so much battery because it remains brightly lit that my phone died.
But I mean, like when a podcaster or comedian or media maker does the opposite and they're like, I see you are so beautiful and you are powerful, whatever it is you're doing is the greatest thing in the world. It is so condescending to me, and I'm like, no, be a little mean to them. They can take it. They actually prefer it.
Quite frankly, there could be nothing sadder to me than someone looking to us for validation. I actually have faith that everyone listening to this has done the work on their own and knows their own value, and actually could stand to be taken down a peg.
Wow, that is so respectful of our listeners, and I think that is so good.
It's a new form of therapy I am pioneering.
So, listeners, you're not that good, and prove me wrong.
Yeah, maybe just put in some effort.
Every day you're back at zero.
Maybe don't just be passively listening to other people create on the spot, kind of come up with literal work in an audio format on the spot with no script, by the way.
So many of our peers, they're scripted, and they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that ahead of time.
The idea that we even have peers is offensive to me, but I understand what you're saying on a theoretical level. Speaking of our peers, I hate to take such a left turn, but I have to address something that's currently going on in my immediate vicinity, which is that in the apartment that I now have been living for the past approximately 2.5 months, one of its main flaws is that it in fact there is a certain area that attracts pigeons, and they actually hang out almost in a town square type vibe on top of my AC unit. So much so that there are conversations happening. We have caught them, in fact, multiple times fornicating, and I'm not trying to make a joke. That has, in fact, happened. And the other day, one of them was, in fact, taking a nap on top of the AC unit. We thought maybe that's a dead pigeon. No, we woke it up, and then it flew away.
Do you feel like you want to get rid of them? Do you feel like it's their space? Do you feel like you own even the outside of your apartment?
Well, to me, it's almost like the relationship we have with our listeners. It's like, yes, I'm happy to provide that space, but I'm going to be pushing them away.
Yeah, I think that's healthy. I have a similar, I think this maybe shows the difference in our apartments, is that I actually have a similar issue, but in fact with rats.
Whoa.
The rats do live in the windowsill outside of the window that I'm currently looking at. I see them crawling in there. I see them. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what's up with them, but they love this backyard, and they are always running towards the house, I think, to get to this windowsill, which is sort of, I don't know, a top tier apartment as far as rats go.
Wow. Thank you for giving me the gift of knowing someone has it worse than I do. And in fact, I'm even looking now at the pigeons. One is currently shitting on my AC unit, and already I'm feeling blessed. I'm looking at them in a new light, and I'm thinking, you are so beautiful, you stunning snatched bitch. I'm so happy you're not a rat.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I'll take the fall for this. I think if I can provide you with a service and it makes you feel better, then I feel like I've done a good job. And I think any listeners out there, whatever is going on in your life, I just want a quick question before we bring in our guest.
Please.
Is our guest cutting fingernails on the podcast? And he doesn't necessarily need to answer. Oh my God, he answered.
Oh, and he answered in the chat. In fact, the answer is yes.
Wow.
Interestingly,
it's amazing that someone would set up like a fancy microphone sort of on like an audio recording.
Yeah.
and then like do something that
When there is the option of muting as well. In fact, that's actually one of the main things you can do when you're on Zoom.
And in fact he is cutting his fingernails, and just it was subtle enough where I was like, should I bring it up? And then it was like, I was like, no, I'll let it go. And I was like, well, this is almost more than 10 fingers. He's like really making this last.
He has been clipping. I mean, this one has been going on for what, 5-6 minutes? I don't know how we're going to cut it. Obviously, it's nothing but gold with my pigeon material and your rat material combined. But we're talking, I'm like, has he moved on to toenails is my question, because I do see a sort of downward turn of his face.
I mean, it's also,
and I can't see below his shoulders, but I do hear clip, 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 clip.
The bravery to keep going is such, it's an example of pride, and it's an example of living out loud, because a lesser performer, a lesser intellect,
he says done.
He says done. Well, someone lesser would have maybe stopped when we called it out even, but he's so committed to good work and finishing the job.
But here's my question. Is it, in the sense that, is it actually more or less brave to keep going after being, let's say, called out? Or is it just a way to prevent yourself from feeling embarrassed? You're like, well, now that I've been called out on it, I'm going to suddenly adopt a kind of empowerment narrative.
That's a great question. I mean,
it's because it's actually self-preservation. It's not so much that it's not really making an artistic statement. In fact, it's preserving. It's actually a lack of vulnerability, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I see exactly what you mean. I love our guest to death, but I think what just happened was inherently childish.
In a sense, it was a masculine impulse. First of all,
it was taking up space, and when being sort of called in, it was you basically went on a triggered tour where it was like these liberals when you kept going.
Well, it's funny because I could sense he was like, oh, this is getting a rouse out of these Gen Z snowflakes. And so then he was like, okay, well, this is getting some traction. I can see it trending. This is now going to be my kind of opener. And so he's been going around touring in across the Midwest, and his opener is that he takes out the nail clippers, and everyone in the audience cheers. They're like, oh yes, come on. Like, they hate that in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And then he clips his nails so that they pop out to the audience, then people catch them, and then it's become kind of a viral challenge almost.
I'm even imagining sort of a wrestling type of thing where people in the audience have giant clippers and are just sort of like clipping.
Right. And then, people in the audience start clipping their nails.
It's pandemonium, but hey, everyone's pretty well manicured.
It's frankly disgusting, aesthetically speaking, but yeah, I guess it could be worse.
I honestly think, I think it would be wrong of us to deny him to speak any longer.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly made quite a bit of noise already.
It's amazing. We are often in the history of this podcast interrupted in the intro, but never are we interrupted so subtly and and psychologically.
Again, it's a toxic choice to let us keep going with this rather than interrupt and almost like go in, join us in the bit, create a communal atmosphere, create a chosen family. No,
it's us versus them.
He is defining himself in opposition to us.
Well, I'm going to lead with love, and I'm going to bring him in.
Please do that.
Without further ado, please welcome to our podcast. Give a glamour girl hootie hoo for John Early.
Hello.
John, what do you have to say for yourself?
Thoughts?
I never clip my nails. I'm a lifelong picker.
Oh.
Which is that disgusting?
Not even biter.
Never a biter. Just a kind of nervous, kind of like shredding of my own nails.
Interesting.
And I've only really recently learned to enjoy like the precision of nail clipping, but it's not a habit yet. Like I'm trying to make it a habit. And so I sat down. I was not warned that I'd be kind of shut out of the conversation for 10 minutes. That was not in the email
Right.
from
Right.
Olivia. I'm
trying
not
to
blaming
kind of-
Olivia.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. In fact, it's unclear what kind of argument you're even making.
I'm sitting here during the intro. I see the clipper. I think if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it for 2 weeks. I start clipping. I did actually I did think it was subtle enough to go to not be picked up by the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you noticed. Yes, we all remember that.
Yeah.
And then I would say there's some truth in what George is saying.
In that it's all
In
right.
terms of your artistic outlook and what you were trying to do.
Well, just kind of the defining, like the kind of aggressiveness of keeping going. I think there's definitely truth in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think I think we all need to make more kind of aggressive choices artistically, and we can't fear aggression just because of its kind of masculine connotations. It's important to make phallic choices artistically. And I think a lot of people, I think we're suffering under the weight of a lot of, or I can't even say weight. I think we're suffering under the weight of a lot of the kind of femme content.
Gay comedian
actually-
arguing for more phallic content.
No, I think we're scared of phallic content, and now I've gendered it because I'm not smart enough to kind of like turn myself into pretzels to not gender. So
yeah. Well, that's the kind of the eternal question. How do you turn the phallus into a pretzel?
it is truly a question. It's one that I can't solve.
I do agree with what you're saying, actually, which is that basically what's happening is those already prone to phallic output lean into it, while everyone else, because they're so afraid of the phallus, leans away from it.
Yes.
And then who is left doing ethical phallic work? Nobody.
And thank God. I don't care about your ethics.
Okay. So maybe it's not about ethics, but it's at least aesthetically interesting phallic work.
I just say go phallic or go home is all I'm saying.
Okay, so
I had to keep clipping the nails.
Yeah.
And I want to apologize to you guys.
That doesn't sound very phallic of you.
Yeah, I know. Now you're
It
going
was a
full
phallic
femme.
apology.
In what way?
Yeah, in what way was it
I
phallic?
want to apologize to you guys.
Okay, well there you go. Now
okay.
you're attacking.
Thank you. But it was gross. I think the talk of pigeons and rats also made me feel safe to clip my nails. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
The environment you guys were creating was so disgusting that I felt I could.
Yeah, our homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the physical environment we're in.
The homes that we
like
live in. Yeah.
Our apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah, really gross.
Yeah, nasty places. Unlivable in some cultures.
Yeah, it's really, we could sue.
John, was there any point, did you feel any feelings of embarrassment at being called out? Any feelings of anger at being called out? What was your initial reaction when you were exposed in that way?
Honestly, I would say just such gentle embarrassment, but not enough to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say.
Please.
Why is clipping your nails one of those things that is gross?
And now we're having a conversation.
Thank you. Now we're here. We've arrived. I do think that there's just like it's always linked to fungus. Even if there's no fungus there.
To me, it's about its relationship to death. It's like it's in the same way that hair is dead cells, nails are dead cells. You know, you don't want to be, or even just like rubbing the dead skin off your body or whatever. If you're like exfoliating, you just don't want to see the remnants of what used to be. It reminds you of your own mortality.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's been figured out.
So in that way, it actually is very artistically generative.
Yeah.
Okay, we kind of got to the bottom of clipping your nails.
Yeah. I do also think I'm really fascinated by what you did, which is you were like, okay, I have actually now this 10-minute break.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I know I'm in this chair.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get distracted. I can do something that I've been putting off.
Yes.
And that I will continue putting off after this recording is over. It's such a specific impulse of the procrastinator. Saying that as one myself.
No, completely.
I almost saw it as toxic productivity, where you were like, I can't even sit in this moment.
Oh,
I need to be working.
capitalist.
I need to be working. And I'm sure you have a big business call after this, and then probably a big business dinner. I'm not sure what time it is wherever you're at.
It will be dinner time.
So you were just sort of like, well, like I wouldn't be surprised if you started brushing your teeth mid-call, you know?
I have to say, I've decided with George here, and I know this is a competition, and I know the guest does classically weigh in and keep score.
Yeah.
But yeah, George is correct that it's a procrastinator's burden.
It is. I'm actually currently dealing with that right now, where Sam and I, in fact, I'll come out and say it tomorrow, are going on vacation together.
Where are you going?
We are going to the beach.
And no, he won't tell you which one.
Okay. And no, I won't tell you which one.
Our lips are sealed because our rabid fans will find us.
All I'll say is that it is a beachside community in New York State.
That has a rich, storied history.
A rich history. And yeah, we mean literally, we mean wealth.
And
okay, I think I know what it is.
It's not canonically gay.
It's not. Okay, interesting.
No, it's not canonically gay.
So check your stereotypes.
And yet there's a kind of secret gay history.
Many famous people have lived there or have had history there.
I mean, is it on Fire Island?
Okay, two gay
We're
guys
talking
can
about a different section of beach that's not gay.
Something isn't adding up. Like,
okay, hold on. New York State.
Gay guys are technically allowed anywhere in the state.
What I was
no, I know.
That's actually Sam, not true.
Wait,
that's a very Manhattan and Brooklyn kind of outlook where we
that's
think
true.
New York is a blue state.
That's a true
There are
point.
places where they would not want us to do a StraightioLab show.
Sure.
But where I was going with that is we're leaving tomorrow, and I just know that all these things that have been on my to-do list all week are gonna happen literally in the 2 hours leading up to when the car actually leaves to go to this destination. And I actually have grown to be okay with that.
Yeah. No, as if you accept it, then the rest of the time, like leading up to those 2 hours, isn't full of dread, which is actually like, because the way I always feel when I'm finally doing the thing that I've procrastinated from is I'm like, so you're telling me the last week, which was just full of dread and chaos, I could have been watching movies. I could have been jerking off. I usually, but like, I could have read a good book. It's like I could have done something with that time. I could have done something fun and pleasurable with that time, and then just gone, I'm gonna wait till those final 2 hours. I might as well, watch Felicity.
Yes. No, that's the thing with procrastination is it's actually this time when you are almost purposefully doing useless things because you're afraid to even pick up a project.
Yeah.
Sam, you're not a big procrastinator.
Yeah.
In our working relationship, I'm the procrastinator and you are...
I'm the one that, yeah, I'm pretty on top of it. Sorry, that's not
how
cool.
Do you think you got to be? No, that's so cool. How did you get to be that way?
How did I get to be that way? I have no idea. I honestly, this is my working theory in the context of George and I, is that I think George is better.
I know what you were gonna say.
At bullshitting. I think he's better at like going on the fly, and I think he's been able to like go. You went through like literally like school and were able to sort of be like, "Oops, I didn't do this until the night before, and I'm whipping it out." And I was always like, ugh. Like I'm smart, but it takes me a little while. Like I gotta like provide time and work 2 hours every day at it. So that's how I think I got that way, to be honest.
That is so. That's actually that harkens back to. Do you remember we were discussing with Nori? Her topic was being prepared as a straight topic, and it was kind of this like. I mean, we don't have to relitigate it now, but how prepared you feel like you need to be actually says so much. It's like the crux of so much kind of like lean in feminism about how women need to be 3 times as prepared as men. But then you almost can go horseshoe theory the other way around. You're like, actually, I am so I'm so outside of the respectable community that it would not even help me to be prepared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Needless to say, yeah.
Yeah.
John, this podcast is also about a podcast, and it's about sort of exploring what it is to host a podcast. And I just want to take this sort of pause, sort of this moment where we're unsure where to go next, and say, are we doing a good job?
You guys are both doing a beautiful job. I have to say, like, it's such freedom to turn off your self view on Zoom.
Oh.
Is yours on?
Ours is on.
Can you tell ours is
and
on?
And the thing is...
No.
I know I should...
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not tracking your eye movements at all.
I know I should turn it off, but then it really does, your mind immediately goes to, what if I suddenly have snot on my nose?
Of course. And now I feel like you're telling me that I have snot on my nose.
No, it's not snot.
It's
just
just
the way your
lots
nose
of
is
fingernail
shaped.
clippings.
No, I can sense an irreverence in you, and you are someone that is not paying attention to their corporeal form.
hence the fingernail clipping. But no, I have to say, I just literally got lost in watching you, because you're both. It's just two videos side by side, and you were talking, and I just kind of got lulled into watching, and then I literally you wound down your point, and then I forgot that I was a guest on the podcast, because the self view isn't there, because who are we without our self view?
Well, then we've done our job. If it feels so natural that you are quite literally being lulled.
Yes, I've been lulled into the I hate using this word, but parasocial.
Oh no!
But this isn't parasocial, because I'm here.
No,
I have to.
actually.
I'm here. This is so
yeah,
cool.
This is just
you're
social.
literally here. Can you?
Oh my god!
Oh my god, John.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I'm inside the podcast. It's like VR, except it's still not VR. I'm here, you guys. I'm here.
Oh my god.
I'm the guest. I'm the guest.
It really
Say that.
That moment when it hits you. My face when I'm the guest.
Bam, and then it hits you. Do you remember the old Bam ad campaigns? Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
of course,
John, when you were a
of
child,
course.
did you ever think you'd get here?
No.
No.
I just didn't. I didn't have that kind of self-esteem. I didn't even dream of it, because I just was. No, I never thought I'd be here. But it is crazy. I'm not cooking right now. I'm not cleaning. You know what I mean?
It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
weird, yeah.
like
You
I'm
are
not
simply
driving.
on
I'm just simply I am the guest, and I'm in the podcast. I'm inside of it.
Right.
Wow.
I want to know. I'm just pinging questions at you, but John,
Please.
what advice would you give to all the little kids out there that say, I want to be on a podcast. I want to see what it's like to be a guest on a podcast. And, they're in rural parts of the country even, and they're hearing you talk right now, and they're hearing your joy, and they're saying, I want to feel that. What advice would you have for those kids?
Yeah.
2 words: series regular. Just become a series regular. It's really, yeah. I mean, that's it.
And the kids growing up in those rural areas have heard that from everyone their whole lives, but it bears repeating. They've always, they're growing up. Animals are shitting on them left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in their life, their church elders, their guidance counselors, has said, be a series regular.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so tough when you see a kid who has so much potential, and yet they're not being
Isn't
a series regular.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a day player mindset.
Yeah.
Ultimately is what it is.
Yeah.
That takes years to unlearn.
But it's a mindset. It's a mindset.
But
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when something is a mindset, that means it's your fault, and you should try to get better at it.
You can snap into it. You can literally pull yourself up by your own.
By your bootstrap.
Series regular.
Series regular. Yeah. By your series regular.
Yeah.
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 Here's what I think we should do.
Yeah?
I think we should do our first segment.
Okay. Yeah, John, you thought this was all gonna
Yeah.
be fun and games.
Yeah.
Chit chat.
We have
You were
segments.
ready to be.
even.
You were ready to be loose. Little did you know we were leading you into this trap the whole time.
I had no idea, but I'm ready for some structure.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
And just while we're here,
Yeah.
John, how has your perception of us changed knowing that this actually does have a segment?
I once again, I'm thrilled. I'm like, I would have ridden the wave of it being like fully loose, of course, but no, I actually feel really taken care of.
Okay, I'm glad because
Yeah.
and honestly, that makes me feel good because I get so embarrassed sometimes because we have these cool series regulars on, and we say and here comes our first segment, and they go. They make a little
they're
face like, was this for kids?
Yeah,
I
they're
thought
like,
this was an
my
adult podcast.
right. Or they say my manager didn't tell me about this.
Or
Yeah.
Olivia didn't tell me.
Or Olivia.
I'm not mad.
No.
But and also one thing I wanted to say about the fact that we have a segment is I'm glad that you enjoy it because now I'm like, if we hadn't had this segment, like I just know you would have left and you would have called up whoever's your greatest friend in the world and you would have said it was just like you would call up Lauren and you would have said, I mean, they're nice, but it was just really meandering, and if they cared, how did they get this out if there's no
maybe that would be enough in like 2014, but,
right?
There are a lot of comedy podcasts out there.
Yeah, the landscape has
they
changed.
They have to differentiate themselves, and it's almost an open mic mentality that at this point it's kind of embarrassing that they haven't grown out of.
But we've taken that from you.
No, I didn't need that. I talked to Lauren enough. Obviously, I don't.
And of course, you're not going to talk about us. If you have other things to talk about with Lauren.
When I'm with Lauren, it's purely like family stuff. It's purely personal. We actively stay away from the professional.
Yeah,
That's smart.
Yeah. Whereas at all other times, he's kind of actively staying away from the familial.
We're talking about Lorna Luft, right?
Yes,
of course.
Friend of the podcast.
We love.
Okay.
Okay, George, will you please explain our first segment? I couldn't possibly do it right now.
I mean, I would not expect you to, nor would I ever ask.
Can I ask this real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt.
please.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Are these the same segments for every ep, or are you doing a fresh new segment for me? And neither one will disappoint me.
Thank you so much for clarifying. These are the same segments for each ep.
Okay.
Oh,
But as you'll
that
see,
sounds disappointed.
The content is, of course, different.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's different.
Our first
content.
segment.
It's a format.
Like you have the cold open and then the monologue and then the host, and then you'll kind of go into the episode.
Yeah, maybe you and Lorna have talked about that.
Weekend update. Yeah. Our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we gauge your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture by asking you a series of rapid-fire questions where you have to decide between one thing and another thing.
Oh my God.
And the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions about how the game works.
Like starting now?
John.
John.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Grace period over. Starting now, the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions about how the game works. John.
Yes.
Noah's Ark or Roman's Revenge?
Roman's Revenge.
John. Fibonacci sequence or Liberace's sequins?
Liberace's sequence. Now, can I explain how I'm approaching the game, or does that count?
Is that a question? Is that a question, John?
You can.
Is that a question?
You can rephrase that sentence.
Yeah. So I'm gonna explain how I'm approaching the game.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so, well, no, I actually don't know how I'm approaching, but I am like I'm struggling between answering with like, what my gut is telling me, like what I actually prefer.
Yeah.
Or what I think the correct answer is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
keep going.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider or I'm Laura Linney and this is Masterpiece Theater?
I'm Laura Linney and this is Masterpiece Theater.
Okay. Gus Van Sant or Stath Let's Flats?
Stathlet's Flats.
Ben Affleck or the duck from Affleck?
The duck from Affleck.
Okay. Reading The Artist's Way or being asked, "Are you gay?"
Being asked, "Are you gay?"
Being fluent in Excel or being brought to tears by Adele?
Being fluent in Excel.
Oh, honey.
Okay. Mark Twain, Shania Twain, or Choo Choo Twain?
Shania Twain. First
Wow.
concert,
Man.
first concert, second concert.
Really?
Man, I feel like he's a winner.
Woo!
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you got
Well, we
665 dubs.
We rate each guest on a scale of 0 to 1,000 dubs.
Are we in a question zone? Can I ask a question?
We're now
the
now
game is
done
actually
with the game.
completely
Your
over.
score is 665 doves.
Were you actually tallying? Be real. Or you were scoring me in a kind of instinctive way.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling. It's not even like linear. Like getting like more dubs isn't better. Getting less dubs isn't worse. Like
You're in such an SAT mode right now,
no,
and
I'm
I'm
in
actually
phallic mode.
shocked
I'm in
because
phallic mode.
I actually am shocked because you are truly one of the people in this field that I respect the most,
Oh, no.
and to have you ask us, were you actually keeping score?
It's revealing. But here's what I need.
It's
Here's what I
revealing.
need you guys to know, that as I'm sure you surmised, because obviously at a certain point, if you were tallying it based on am I giving the gay answer,
Right,
Mhm.
right.
then I would have consciously, I think in some areas, I think as you know, excel over Adele. That would have been me consciously failing. But that at that point I had fully decided to answer instinctively.
Yeah.
Mm.
I actually think that's where the 665 comes from, is
Yeah.
that
My
basically
own-
you started out clearly unsure.
Yeah. To be honest.
And then by the
Yeah.
end,
No,
we
I
were
remember.
we were at 1,000 doves territory. But of course it's going to be a mean, an average of all the
Right,
different of all the
right.
answers.
Yeah.
So you came out
thank
at
you. I felt
665.
that. I felt that.
Yeah.
What in the middle there happened that made you turn it all around?
It just was a confidence and approach.
Yeah.
Mm.
You settled into the game. You stopped being afraid.
Here I go.
And hey, I think we all learned a little bit about, a little discomfort. That's okay. Because you can push through and you can get to the other side and you can be so confident and strong at the end.
Thank you, Sam.
Remember when I started this making fun of people that try to lift up their listeners, and now all I'm doing is like pulling that style.
Well, we can
But I'm
definitely
the
lift up
guest.
our guests.
But we can lift
Yeah.
up our guests.
Our guests are people I would like to have a positive relationship with.
Yeah, we only invite people on this podcast that really need to get lifted up.
And yet I was attacked for the first 20 minutes.
Well, to me, as Sam knows, that's kind of a way that I build, to tear someone down so that I can then build them back up.
Totally.
It's kind of my signature.
Where are you from?
And
I
I come from a big Greek
Military
family,
brat.
and growing up, you had to talk louder than everyone else to get heard, and I've really carried that with me throughout my life.
we're crying.
It's a leftover thing, and people respond defensively to that, but of course, that's because they grew up with no culture.
To many people,
None.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding was just a really good movie. But to George, that's life.
It was home.
That was my life.
Yeah.
Everyone would be laughing at it, and George would say, hey, don't laugh at that. That's me.
Yeah, I said that's not the part you're supposed to laugh at. That's actually true.
I saw that on a double date, a straight date.
Oh, what was her name?
Really?
Oh wait, that's not true. Okay, I was with someone. It was actually my first gay date.
Wow.
Yeah, I got confused because one of the girls there had previously been like a straight date.
Oh, was this in
Yeah.
how old were
Middle
you?
school. This was eighth. No. This was ninth grade.
Oh
So
my
freshman year of
God.
high school.
So you went on a double date, a gay double date, where the woman in the other couple was someone you had previously gone on a straight date with.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Talk about chosen family.
And I had seen Crouching Tiger with her.
Slay.
Arguably a more queer film, actually. If you-
100%.
like-
100%.
In fact, no matter how you slice it, it's gonna go ahead and be more queer.
And then my big fat Greek wedding with the gay guy, or he was
Yeah.
bi, I should say.
Well, maybe he's changed.
It's possible.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
so
or
long
maybe
ago.
he's fine with who he is, and that's also okay.
Wait, you were out in like 9th grade?
To select friends
Oh.
Wow.
and some teachers.
Oh.
Wow, to be out to teachers.
That's bold.
It's very. I mean, yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, yes, in Greece, I had a kind of, I wanted to apply to colleges in America. And I remember telling this one teacher that I knew was kind of more progressive than the others. I wasn't ready to come out, but I would say things like, I have my own reasons for wanting to be in a big city.
Oh, you were teasing it. I love that.
Yeah, I remember I was applying to, I ended up going to college in California, and I was like, San Francisco, I've always wanted to live in San Francisco for my own reasons.
Oh my god, that's so sweet.
And to this day, I'm like, did she, I mean, I'm sure she like suspected independently, but did she understand that that's what I was saying with that statement? We'll never know.
I bet
she
did.
I bet she did.
Yeah, we gotta get her on the pod. I was the complete opposite. I was like, I'm going to a straight college in a straight college town, but I was like, but maybe it'll be perfect because maybe my roommate will be randomly gay, and then we can hook up and we can be closeted together.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
No, but that was the fantasy.
Yeah.
My roommate was a libertarian from Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like parents were libertarian? Like
Yeah, and
received
him.
libertarian? Okay, yeah.
Is he still libertarian?
Yeah.
Have you checked in on him?
He was raised libertarian, but then actually stayed with the church. Yeah.
Not to be like structured and
Phallic.
No, I want another segment.
Yeah.
well, I be careful what you wish for
Oh god, okay.
because I think we're actually going to bring in our topic.
This is our main, you could call it the main segment.
Okay.
We never have in the past, but actually this is helping me really get organized.
So John, just to give the listeners a peek behind the curtain, you texted me maybe 10 minutes before the podcast started
Yeah, 10.
saying, "Oh my gosh, was I supposed to come up with something?" And then another text, "God, asterisk." And I said, "Not really, a topic if you want." And then you brought this to me.
Sam, what a non-committal answer. Not really a topic if you want.
Well, I was kind of like, we can all come up with one together. It doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
It was very sweet. You didn't want to put the pressure on.
yeah. But you did actually almost instantly come up with the topic. Would you like to tell us what that is?
I came up with the topic of fermentation, and I really, really assumed that it would have been taken.
Which just goes to show, how incredibly beautiful and alternative your mind is.
Thank you.
Because you said, oh, this is the lowest hanging fruit in the world. And actually, it's one of the most elevated topics we've ever received.
I'm shocked. I mean, I think Nori's topic is so postmodern and gorgeous.
Postmodern, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think this is the sweet spot. We have literal topics. We could do football.
Right.
And we have postmodern topics such as Nori's topic.
Right.
This is almost
Kind of in between.
the sweet spot in between, which is where you get the real fruitful discussion.
To mention the fruit.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
oh my God, I was about to say we're planting a seed. Literally.
Oh my God.
Tell us a little bit about how it came to you and what about fermentation to you is straight.
Well, my mind immediately goes to Brad from the Test Kitchen, the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with him?
I'm not. Full disclosure, I'm not.
I could potentially, if I were to witness him, recognize him.
It can be so powerful to admit when you don't know something, George. It can be so powerful.
The time that George was buying there.
All I'm trying to say is, I've seen the faces of these people,
You've seen
but then
the
I've never done a
thumbnail.
deep dive.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I know the gay one. I know.
Yes, of course. Like
So
Molly
he is a more
Bass.
straight. He's a phallic one.
He's a phallic artist.
Well, see, I don't want to come for him, but no. Like to me,
Oh.
his choice of fermentation is evasion.
Oh.
Of the kind of Test Kitchen project. Like everyone else
I'm
is
looking
kind of,
at him now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes, he's very straight, but that's not what I mean by phallic. I think like the other chefs in the Test Kitchen are making like actual food.
Right.
He seems to have been hired to be the kind of like more mask straight presence to make
100%.
to make straight guys mostly feel not gay for watching Test Kitchen videos.
Yes.
Which, like, you know, I think Test Kitchen videos maybe just might all be more straight in general too, like than they are gay. But which is why I feel like I know them and you don't.
Because you're straight.
Because I'm straight.
right. I'm just looking because I did a
Literally.
quick a quick Google image, and it really is like this is someone doing straight drag. It is.
Yes.
Even the apron he wears is
the
like
leather
masculine.
workwear
Yes.
apron.
Exactly, which is of
It's
course
Carhartt.
also very kinky
Yes.
Mhm.
and kind of okay, but I think I think fermentation is actually, like, to me, like, it always disappoints me when that video comes up in the loop
Mhm.
or whatever, the feed, what do you call, I don't know, whatever, the algorithm, because it isn't actually, like, I know that fermentation is useful, but it has a kind of, like, when he does it, to me it feels kind of survivalist.
Right. Well, and it's not just survivalist. It's appropriate. It's like fake. He's obviously not a survivalist.
Exactly, like, he doesn't
he
need
is doing
to
it
survive.
to do the perform. Yeah.
We all need to survive, but he's fine. Like, he's not, like, he doesn't need to, like, store food for the winter.
Right. If he doesn't ferment, he'll be okay.
Yes, completely. Like, he'll be at, you know, whatever, fucking fill in a restaurant in New York.
Via Carota.
Yes, exactly. He'll be at Via Carota on Tuesday. He doesn't need to ferment.
Sure.
Right.
Wait,
And at East Sodi on Wednesday.
is all he does fermentation? Is he like the fermentation expert? I don't know how
Well,
these
there's
things work.
also, like, kind of like knife sharpening and, like, again, it's like all this, like, it's not a lot of, like, cooking.
Sure.
Now I think fermentation is really, like, gorgeous. My boyfriend's twin brother
Whoa.
Is
hot,
fermenting.
right?
That's kind of crazy. That's kind of
No,
crazy.
Trust me, it's wild. no, my boyfriend's twin brother.
Straight twin?
Straight.
Yes, yes. I
Oh,
love when
thank
that
God.
happens. I love when that
And
happens.
has a beautiful wife, and they live in, like, the woods in Vermont, and they have a kid, and they come by their fermentation very earnestly. Like, it's not like a lifestyle thing. It's not a YouTuber thing. It's not an influencer thing. It's actually, like, they have crops that they need to, like, that they have an excess amount of, that they need to, like, you know, ferment to, like, preserve them and store them. And they're like, and they get really interested in it, and they, like, do it in very beautiful ways, and they make it taste really good, and it's like heaven. So, like, you can come by fermentation beautifully. I know you have a lot of fermentation listeners.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
And they're the most aggressive.
Yeah. They're your biggest fans.
Yeah, quite frankly.
But no, I don't know. I just I think of, like, I think of Brad, and I think of that apron. I think of, like, kind of like Carhartt. I think of survivalist stuff, like, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, and I think of Brooklyn restaurants in, like, 2012.
It's Williamsburg in 2012.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like 2010 through 2014.
It's a cousin of pickling. Like it's
Yes.
in the same way that the joke used to be like, he wears a fedora and he pickles.
Yes, exactly.
Listens to records.
It's the
Animal Collective.
Portlandia era. It's the Portlandia era.
It's Portlandia.
Yes, but it persists.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yes.
Nevertheless.
Well, then there's also, of course, like, offshoots of fermentation, like, I mean, natural wine, which, like, I think the three of us probably associate, like, that with maybe some natural wine gays, like orange wine gays. But there is actually a real kind of bro natural wine
100%.
contingent.
100%.
Like, foodie bro natural wine, like, yeah.
Because again, it's like all these things are food without the vulnerability of cooking or baking.
Yeah, it's food but saying no homo. It's food saying, like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's food but no homo.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm not a cook. I'm just doing science.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, this is what I.
Okay, we've nailed it.
That was my first thought. It was like, in fact, the queerness of fermentation, of course, is that it is a transformation narrative.
Yes.
But then the straightness of it is that it's science. You can hide behind the science. Like, it is science. It's not an art. It is you have to literally use beakers.
Yes, totally. And I want to be absolutely clear now that you're bringing up queer fermentation or the queer power fermentation. But like, I want like, there's also something like for some reason like equally despicable to me about like queer people who are into fermentation.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like they're fucking SCOBY.
Oh, I mean, it's very queer housing Facebook group.
Completely. The mother.
The mother.
What is the mother?
The mother in when you're making like sourdough.
Kombucha. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so kombucha,
Or
sourdough.
kombucha.
Okay, here's a question. So, does any old bottle of vinegar, does it come with a mother, or does it develop a mother over time? Because I have screamed pulling out a bottle of vinegar from the back of the
Oh God, yeah.
cupboard.
Well, I do think that's it. Well, it certainly is fermented.
I mean, I don't know. Here's what I'm saying. We don't know. Could you explain fermentation? Go.
I'm offended you would even ask.
Exactly. I don't know what I'm saying when I say what we talk about when we're talking about fermentation.
Right. There is something heartening about the diversity of the types of things that can be created with fermentation. You know, bread, wine, kombucha,
Yogurt.
beer,
Yogurt?
cheese.
Yeah. Wow.
Cheese is fermentation.
I feel.
Sure. If anything sits for a long time, it's fermented, right?
Yeah. Soy sauce.
Is that fermented?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm learning so much. I think the saddest form of fermentation is even the less scientific. I think it's the brewing your own beer, sort of a brew your own beer kit, potentially from Target, sort of a for dads for Christmas. That to me is the peak straight version, and the part that is actually the saddest. It's sort of like it's even back to the like hiding behind not baking. It's like men crave to bake, men want to bake.
Any kind of kit, it actually makes me want to cry with empathy for the people that would purchase something like that.
It really it is a prison. It is very masculinity is a prison for all involved. Hot prison, don't get me wrong. Honey, lock me up and throw away the
Prison
key.
break.
Oh yeah, no, it's certainly giving HBO's odds.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Which I've really got to tap into. Recently, I've been like, Christopher Maloney getting absolutely railed in a prison shower. Like, why haven't I been watching that?
Do you know the famous scene where he gets a blowjob and then he kills the person giving it to him?
No, I don't know anything about Oz.
That's actually all I know, and I know it because when I was a teenager, Kathy Griffin mentioned it in one of her specials.
Beautiful.
That's so nice.
Well, I want to be clear though. It's like I just don't want anyone to. We're talking about fermentation as it's like attached to certain like cultural attitudes or like you know, fermentate. Remove all of that. Remove the Brad Bon Appetit Test Kitchen version of fermentation. Remove the queer Facebook housing group, whatever. Like, and fermentation itself, we can all agree, is a mystifying, beautiful process.
It's beautiful. It's Earth Mother.
I wish I knew more about it. I wish I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
I
So
love kombucha.
You're saying that fermentation by itself is a beautiful process. It just has a
100%.
toxic fan base.
It's like fermentation as an identity, as an online identity, I think is what I mean by like straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's similar to the way that nature on its own is beautiful, stunning, iconic.
Right.
It's a sleigh.
And it's a sleigh, of course. It is crowned queen of all queens. And yet when a man gets his hands on it, suddenly we're building tents that are bright orange.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like why it like becomes Republican all of a sudden. And it's like, can't we, this can be beautiful. We can all have this, but it's Republican.
Absolutely.
Right.
And also we thank the men who have like pickled turnips, you know, for the winter. Like we thank you because like I was hungry.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you fed me turnips. Like I really do appreciate like that kind of that need to like, you know, seclude yourself in the garage and like and buy the kit and pickled the turnips. Like we also thank you because I did eat in those restaurants from 2010 to 2014.
Of course.
And I did go, You know,
And
yeah.
I also, the flavor palette of something that has been fermented is it's great.
yeah.
It's like the umami alone.
It's insane. It's insane. What is y'all's relationship to yogurt? Oh, George is just nodding.
No, I'm actually nodding. You can't tell me on my screen. I'm nodding towards Sam.
Oh yeah. You're like, go Sam. This is your thing.
Yeah.
Do your
I'm like,
your
Sam,
yogurt tear.
Do your yogurt. Do your 5 on yogurt.
No, I would argue I actually love yogurt. I think
Yeah.
one a day.
I would argue I actually.
I
love
treat it
yogurt.
almost as if it's medicine. I think this is making I've fully bought into the gut health propaganda. I don't think, if I really investigate the thought, I don't think it's true. But when I'm eating a yogurt, I'm like, this is so good for me.
True.
No, it's true.
Okay, it's true
I
now.
think it's true.
I feel similarly. I love a yogurt, but I sometimes you hit a wall and you're like, I've had it too many mornings in a row.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, George, I actually used to have not 1, not 2, but 3 straight up yogurt puns in my stand-up.
Wow.
Can I guess one?
Yeah.
Dan and fruit, I'm a bottom.
What?
Wait, I think
You know Dan and fruit on the bottom?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I had
Shit.
One is definitely about the word culture.
They were all about one brand. They were all about one brand.
Is one of them
Noosa?
not about like toxic culture or something?
No.
Siggy's.
Okay.
We have to guess the brand first.
Faye?
Oh yeah, Faye. Faggy.
No. Come on. Go obvious. Imagine me uncultured
Did you
eating
say
yogurt.
Greek yogurt or just yogurt?
Yogurt.
See, I go Greek first. George, you heard me right.
Me
go
too.
Greek first. Okay. Yoplait.
No.
Dannon.
Wait, what's the one? There is a more obvious one that we're not guessing.
I know. There's like big yogurt. Don't fucking tell us.
This is like the guessing where we're going on vacation all over again.
I know.
Wait.
But more fun and organic. Dannon. Fucking Yoplait.
Can I say what it starts with? Can I give you
Yes.
a hint? C.
Yeah.
Chobani,
Yup.
Of course.
which is millennial yogurt.
Yeah. Cho me the
Is that
Bonnie.
true?
That's what I would
the,
say.
The branding is so millennial.
Oh, interesting. Show me the Bonnie.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one.
Oh, that was the pun. Okay, love that.
I would say my Bonnie is Cho Bonnie.
Okay, next. Third and
then
final.
I had a last one. Oh no. It's been over, I would say, 5 years since I've
Wow.
said
Yeah,
these things.
these.
So I forget the third one, but I'll look it up. I have it somewhere.
You know, Chobani has a store in
Honey,
Soho.
honey, I've seen people take pictures there.
It's horrifying. And you literally, it's just Chobani yogurt, but then you like choose your toppings as if it's a pink berry.
Oh, I didn't realize a store where you. Oh, I thought just a store where they sold prepackaged yogurt.
No,
That's
no,
what I thought
literally-
too. That's what I thought too.
Oh wow.
Well, by the way, I don't know.
What?
I'm talking as if I know what I'm talking about.
John doesn't
And
know
I
what
don't.
the
Oh,
store
you've never
does.
been.
Well, but I'm almost positive there's you pick your Chobani base and then you pick toppings.
I hope
But
to
I
God you're
actually
right.
don't know for sure. It's more like the way retail is now, where it's like the storefront it's not real. Like
It's an ad.
There's
It's a
no
big ad.
car.
It's
just
for
an ad.
Instagram. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
For tourists. Yeah.
Well,
It's the Museum of Ice Cream.
John,
Talk about it. Talk about a turning point.
I mean,
Truly. The talk about a moment
Culturally.
where I was like, culture is dead.
Exactly.
It's now
Yeah.
over.
It's so rare that you can really point to something. And I really, and I'm not just saying this because we're talking about it, I come back to the Museum of Ice Cream often as a turning point.
I have a huge one as
What
a
is
turning point. Little Miss Sunshine.
Wow.
How do you mean?
This was to me, Little Miss Sunshine is like the end of film, where it's like it's the whole kind of like journey of Little Miss Sunshine of like, oh, the little indie that could, that then gets bought for tons of money and actually and gets released in theaters and becomes this like sleeper hit, and it's this quirky indie. God bless independent film. Thank God we have places like Sundance to foster these kind of independent visions and storytelling. And then it became this huge hit, and then it's like, why were there so many celebrities in it? You know what I mean? Like it's not an indie.
Steve Carell
like,
during The Office.
literally, it's like giant celebs, and then it's maybe not giant, but no, Toni Collette, hello,
Sure.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, Alan Arkin, Paul Dano, huge name, but to me, it's like that then became the way that people reverse engineered indies.
I mean, yes, and then I would say Juno was like
Exactly.
the nail on the coffin.
Completely. It's like a movie that resembles an indie, so that
It
you
was
can,
the end of like the 90s independent film era.
Yes, it's like it's just another way for corporations to like make a movie that like outwardly appears like it has some sort of authentic, independent, organic spirit, but it actually was just like it's just one path towards like making tons of money. It's like a different alternative path towards eventually
100%.
getting bought and then distributed, and and so all movies now feel like this kind of fake, quirky, mumbly, naturalistic kind of like family with like we're a family. I don't know.
Hey, I say ring the going off alarm.
Oh my god, we haven't rung the going off alarm in like over a year.
Well, everyone's been so
Really?
afraid to go off.
Ring the going off alarm. I'm officially ringing it.
Now, do you add it in post?
That would be really smart, and maybe now we will.
I think now that we finally have a budget, we will.
Before it was sort of
No,
like
a budget from the Patreon, or did y'all get bought?
we got bought. Is that okay?
John.
Is that okay?
No, that's okay. That's okay. By whom?
John, this entire thing, you think we're having an organic conversation. Ads are going to be interspersed between each syllable.
We're trying to push the
Giovanni.
limits of how many ads can fit into one podcast episode.
We're trying to do, it's going to be mostly ads with breaks for you being like, about Little Miss Sunshine, and then it's back to ad.
That's beautiful. I'm honored. Thank you.
I don't want to beat this to the ground, but I really love this idea of moments when we knew culture was over.
Me too.
And
Me too.
and I suddenly am.
I think we
and
can
I-
locate
I-
one more together.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
That was and did you see how that question killed it?
Yeah, I know.
It just absolutely sucked the air, and I'm so sorry.
This is what it's like. An obvious one would be, let's say, if I was like, the Netflix show is this cake.
Exactly.
That-
No.
But that's actually misinterpreting the fact that that's actually trying to be a joke itself. Like, it needs to be
Right.
an earnest entry into culture in the way that Little Miss Sunshine was.
This is tough.
Yeah.
So we have Little Miss Sunshine, and we have
The Museum of
Museum of
Ice
Ice Cream.
Cream. So stupid.
Oh wait, no, wait. Oh, I was just thinking about like I was thinking about this the other day, and you might disagree with me, but I think the Beyonce album, the new one, is
The new one?
is the death of queer culture. Just like and not even the death. It's like it's been dead, honey. But it's like but this is the final nail
Yeah.
of like
Well, similarly, I'm like, I feel like there's like a Drag Race moment that
Right.
could also, maybe even when they did the first speaking lip sync.
No, I actually thought that was genius, and I was like,
I
"This is
know.
breathing life back into queer
Yeah.
culture." Finally,
when was that the first speaking?
that was
literally like 3 weeks ago.
Oh my god, that's well great.
Yeah. I understand and respect what you're saying about the Beyonce.
I understand and
I
respect
love
what you're saying
Beyonce.
too.
I love Beyonce, and I wait.
No. I think
you know-
I think it's actually like exactly right, because it essentially is elevated Alyssa Edwards track.
I mean, I would kill for an Alyssa Edwards version of these songs, but it's like I just kind of can't believe people are talking about it as if it's doing anything like revolutionary at all. Like, I mean,
But that's
How
how it
can
is
you-
with Beyonce. You kind of have to like,
right, like
literally it's like people are normal, and then Beyonce happens, and then they enter this dream space where they're kind of like free associating.
well, see,
like-
this is such a millennial thing that I hate, which is like, and Beyonce is so fucking linked to it, which is like hyperbole. Like, and I'm gonna do this 5 more. I'll do it constantly through the end of the episode. I'm gonna do it tonight at home. You know, like I am a huge perpetrator of this very thing, but like,
Right.
but it's just even just now I'm a huge perpetrator. Like, you know, it's like
Right,
even just
right. You're
words
like, I'm the top
truly,
hyperbole user. Yeah.
yeah. You know, like there's something about like Beyonce in the internet and millennials in media and like 2014 or 2013 where it's like Beyonce is literally the most amazing person on the planet. Yeah, that's a horrible example. I'm sure you guys could do funnier versions of it, but it's like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, you can only talk about Beyonce in this way. That's like, she is Christ, and I'm gagged and I'm dead, and lock me up in a coffin. You know, whatever. It's the Beyonce can do.
Yeah, I'm choking blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
help, call 911.
I think, John, you're pointing out, I think we're really only now starting to feel the utter shockwaves of the early 2010s. I think before it was like, this is a flash in the pan, and now it's like, now it's adult, and now it's like, this is the real world. We've created a world, and we have to live in it.
Well, it's like a kind of, it's just an extension of adolescence. Like, it's a kind of way of staying a teenager your whole life. Like, it's like millennials being in their 20s and being in media and being like, no, I still want to. Yeah, because we're in a permanent adolescence on the apps, you know, on Instagram.
Well, and that's what I was going to mention is like, it can't exist outside of the ecosystem of the internet, because in fact, the reason why you get rewarded for hyperbole is because you're constantly competing with other things people are saying. So the only way to get noticed is you have to be. What are you going to do? Right? Like, I thought this was a good effort, period. No, you're going to get the police will show up and shoot you in your home. You can't. That's not an acceptable opinion.
Oh, wow.
And that's an example right there
of that hyperbole.
I guess I'm kind of like, I really, Beyonce was extremely important to me. Like, I love Beyonce, and I really do. I mean, hello, my Instagram.
Yeah, it's your name on the internet.
Like, hello, I honor her even in my Instagram.
But like, I don't know. I just like, she is very like, her kind of like type A-ness, her kind of like Tracy Flick-ness is like very beautiful to me. It always has been.
Me too, 100%.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like, but there is just something. Okay, the doorbell rang, and I need like 2 minutes, and you can honestly keep this in.
This is great.
And let the time.
Oh no, this is our favorite
for the
thing
listener.
in the world.
Let it ferment.
So how do you think John's doing? Be honest.
Sam, can you hear literally the pigeons fighting?
No, I can't hear them. Is it really loud? I can't hear it at all.
They are literally fighting. Their feathers are like, they're like slapping one another. It is Fight Club. I cannot believe there's like nothing I can do. I'm gonna literally throw something at the window and maybe it'll like
get a squirt bottle, give him a little squirt, say, hey, calm down.
It's truly insane. Anyway, to answer your question,
yeah, how's John doing, do you think? Be honest. He won't hear this.
Yeah.
He won't ever hear it.
I mean, I hear a door.
No, really, how's he doing?
Hello?
And so that's why I didn't agree with anything he said. Oh, hey, John.
What?
Oh, nothing. So we were talking about.
No, we were just kind of jumping off of something you said.
Yeah, we were just sort of agreeing and sort of expanding and expounding.
I love that.
Which do you prefer?
Expanding or expounding?
Yeah.
Expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's your phallic nature all over again.
Yeah. Expanding. Yeah. No, I was talking about the type A traits of like, who cares? All I'm saying is this. I just like, how can you not hear it as anything other than someone just like cynically tapping into a market and like, you know, which is fine. It's always like all pop music is that, and all like kind of like pop divas engage like at a certain point in their careers just being like, okay, I'm now officially for the gays. I'm not saying that's like, I mean, of course, duh. I'm not like, I don't feel betrayed by it or anything. I just can't believe people are talking about it as if it's like absolutely revolutionary, even though we've been living in like for years we've been. And also this is my biggest problem with it. It feels so educational in the way that RuPaul has always been like, now gather around. This is what little Edie and big Edie. Everyone, let's learn. Like everyone gather around. The ball culture is from this in Harlem and blah blah blah. It's like, I'm so sick of this condescension. Like I'm happy, I guess, that people are like teaching the kids about what. But I'm also just like, why does it have to feel like fucking Sesame Street? And I feel like the album feels like Sesame Street a little bit. Like it's just a little bit like, and now I teach you about the like house of La Beja. You know, it's like, and it's like, and then what happens is she's just creating, like by doing that on the album, then she knows she's creating an entire industry of YouTubers going, so when Beyonce says house of La Beja, what she's referencing is ball culture. You know what I mean? And it's in TikTok. It's just plugged into TikTok. It's just her. So now all these TikTokers are going, so like this is actually rooted in a history of ball culture in the 80s in her. It's like it's just corny to me.
Yes. Yes.
It's corny.
Yeah. Carney. Well, that. I mean, I think both of us are afraid to speak, to be honest.
Just to be clear, I'm just gathering my thoughts.
Yes.
Okay,
please,
fine.
Please.
And when I'm ready,
Sure. It may be once the episode has ended, but he will be ready.
Okay. Also, wait. Can I also keep talking about it?
please.
I'm so sorry. Please feel free to edit all.
Sure.
No. I actually, I'm so happy
You
you're doing
wish.
this.
Okay. Well, we started on fermentation, like trying to talk about straight culture, and yet all my rage is directed towards gay culture.
And yet we're talking about literally Beyonce.
Basically, like, I just, yes, it did. It like the kind of the internet, like, kind of digesting Break My Soul and being like, and also like talking about like, sorry, just all these videos that came out like right when Break My Soul came out that were like, so here's like listicles of like kind of house music from the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some people really don't know what that is, and that's okay, and I'm happy they're learning because I genuinely love that music.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know, just the tone of it is so kind of, but so it did work on me though. It did make me want to go back and hear Robin S. and like CeCe Peniston and it's always so hard to say her name, and then Crystal Waters or whatever, and like I went back to the songs. It worked on me. I went back to the songs. It's really nice to hear how just like thematically simple they are. Like on a lyrical level, they're just about like heartbreak. Or like,
because
I'm
they're
in
meant
love.
to be on. You're on a dance floor.
Exactly.
It's
but
which is
none of
actually
them are-
why over intellectualizing them does them a disservice, because they're not meant to be over intellectualized.
Totally. But then also I'm like lyrically, I'm just like, I'm so appreciative of their like simplicity and the fact that they're like just always tapping into the universal of like heartbreak or falling in love, instead of like the kind of Break My Soul thing, which is it's also dizzying and frenzied and like kind of generally just like about empowerment. And about, you know what I mean? And so much of the album is about empowerment in a way that I'm just like, it just continually shocks me that like people don't feel devastated by like empowering music, because it's like, it's to me like there's no difference between that and an American Express commercial, like where there's like a Voguer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's like how
Totally.
like it's no longer distinguishable. The same fucking designers, photographers, cinematographers, stylists are working on the Beyonce video and on the American Express commercial. They're doing it's the exact same aesthetic. It's the same people generating the content, and like one is like, and so it's like, why don't you feel devastated? Why don't you feel betrayed? Like, I do feel betrayed. I said I didn't, but I do. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't. It's hard to believe someone now when they're like claim to be championing or fermenting.
He's trying.
You know what I mean? Like these like kind of like marginalized voices, when it's like, this just feels so indistinguishable from a Nike commercial. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I'm like, yes, take me back to just when the song was about like heartbreak. And also my big complaint, and then I'm done, George, because I want my big complaint is literally just like, those singers could, like, if it's dance music, you actually need to be quiet at some point and let the groove play. You literally just like need to let the beat play so that you can dance. Beyonce literally cannot be quiet. She has to inject. She has to inject every single moment with the little melisma, the little layered melisma.
Yeah.
Of like 19 Beyonce going.
Right. If only we, the three of us, could silence her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What she needs is to be silenced.
Yeah, specifically by the three of us.
Yes.
Yeah, more
Yes.
white gay men silencing her.
But then, of course, I think about her back in Destiny Child, and she was actually always doing that, and so that makes me kind of once again feel charitable towards her and actually very endeared. She's always been like,
Right. No, I actually think what you're pointing to in general is a more like, it's like a systemic critique rather than a critique of Beyonce. I actually think Beyonce is like going right where she needs to be going. It is a natural progression of who she was in like 1999 when she first entered the scene.
Yeah.
And it ultimately is not her fault that the people she worked with also work with American Express. However, it is disorienting to be in this kind of like media surround where it's just like you're getting the same images and messages from everywhere.
Yes.
And also, going back to the condescending tone of the articles that you were talking about, you can also kind of never tell how genuine anyone is ever being about how they talk when they talk about anything.
Totally.
You can never tell, even when they're doing like the educational thing. Are they being earnest? Are they being kind of like in this kind of like Stan Twitter way, kind of like she invented music? Of course, I don't think someone saying that is being earnest, and in fact it's like stupid for me to disagree with that and be like, actually she didn't.
Right.
But you're kind of like, it's almost postmodern, and it's like there are no signifieds. Totally. It's like impossible. It's like designed so that you can't talk about it. It's literally like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Mean what you say. Like it's very sad because like yeah.
Well, I just want to say that as someone who decided to come out after seeing a particularly moving American Express commercial, I stan Beyonce. She can hit me with a semi-truck, and I'm gagging for you, mamacita.
I just also have to let these ideas kind of like ferment. You know,
exactly.
Like,
you gotta let them. You gotta let them ferment.
Yeah.
I can't believe you chose this very podcast.
It is an honor and a privilege
to do this sort of Beyonce rant. This will be shared far and wide. People will.
We're gonna clip just your monologue and use it for promo purposes.
Yeah.
Oh God. But I think what you're saying about like you can't like. It's really hard because everyone only speaks in hyperbole about this kind of music, and I just mean like any kind of. And I mean like when gay guys talk about like diva music, you know, it's it's really hard to know if anyone's actually. It feels like you're in this kind of death grip or this like
100%.
Like we're all holding each other at gunpoint, where like no one can actually express if like they're actually experiencing pleasure.
Right.
You know,
or anything.
Well, anything.
I think it's also, I almost don't even, I'm almost like, it's not even hyperbole. It's actually like a different set of language rules. Like it's not that you are speaking in hyperbole in the English language. It's that you are entering this other dreamscape where this is now how we talk for the sake of this conversation. And when it's time to give the presentation at work, we can go back to English.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
But yeah, yogurt.
I mean,
so in terms of yogurt, though,
yogurt, we can't go back to fermentation. I actually think we've fed the children. We've given them a show. We turned it out, and I think I actually think we have to do our final segment.
Oh my God. Okay.
Was not expecting.
Is that
no? I'm so
really
ready.
Time-wise, you are correct.
I do have to go soon.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, you should have thought about that before you launched. You know what? And thank you for saying that because I've been waiting for you to open up this can of worms. Okay, I'll do it. George did the other segment, so I'll do this one.
And then, by the way, I have a segment at the end of that.
Oh, well,
perfect.
You were asked to come up with one.
Okay, John, our final segment is called Shoutouts, and in it we give a shout out to anything that we are enjoying in the homage of straight culture. We shout out in the style, imagine it's 2001, you're in Times Square at TRL, shouting out to your squad back home about anything that you enjoy. And I have one.
Whoa. As is the tradition, we don't think of them ahead of time, and I'm just now really kind of hitting a wall.
What can I ask? Is it? Here's some time for you to think.
Please.
I'll just ask Sam. So George, start thinking now.
Please.
Sam, is it something in straight culture that we want to shout out to, or just anything at all?
Anything at all.
What's straight about it is just the form of the shout out. It's like an homage to that. Yeah.
Got it.
But I'll start.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Ooh, what a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
What's up, freaks, losers, and perverts, and everyone around the globe? Woo! I would like to give a huge shout out to small, tiny cups of coffee. Everyone in this nation is go, 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 and they want a big gulp of coffee. And I'm looking at a little cup of coffee, and I'm saying, this won't drive me crazy. It's a nice treat. You can actually then have it later in the evening because it's just a little bit of coffee. Get yourself a small cup of coffee. It's more versatile. You reject productivity culture. Get a little cup of coffee and enjoy it and say, maybe I'll be sleepy in an hour and a half, and that's okay. Allow yourself to be sleepy and have the flavor of coffee and a little bit of caffeine. We are obsessed with big cups. It's toxic. It's phallic. Enjoy a small cup of coffee. I love you. Woo!
Please hang up and try again.
All right. Let's see.
Do you want me to go?
This is
Do you
my
want me to
favorite
go?
No. This is.
That would just
I'm
be
gonna get
so
that.
rude.
That would be insane for you to even suggest that.
Oh my god.
That would honestly make you not a guest anymore, and it would make you a co-host. You would be, and that would just be such a different vibe. We'd have to do a photo shoot. It would be crazy.
We'd have to do a photo shoot. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Say that.
Wait, I literally just had.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Oh
You got
my
this, you got
god.
this.
I literally. Okay.
No,
okay.
this is everyone's favorite part of the podcast.
This does happen like once every few months.
George,
and
I know
It's
you.
actually, like,
I know you, and you've got
shocking.
this.
Okay. I want to give a quick shout. First of all, let me say this. What's up, bitch whores out there? And let me say this, actually, since I've now started talking. I want to give a quick shout out to not committing to one signature thing and having that be your personality. And this is where I'm coming from with this. My entire life, I ordered a vodka martini, slightly dirty with olives. I then switched to a gin martini with a twist. And I actually thought that offered something different, something I wasn't getting before from the vodka from the olives. And then my immediate thought was, oh, so now I'm a gin martini person. But no, we're all different. We all are constantly evolving. That is something Beyonce taught me in her expansive oeuvre. And I can actually go to a restaurant tomorrow, go back to vodka. I can go to a restaurant the day after that, go back to gin. I can actually go get a gin martini with a twist and ask for olives on the side as a little snack and not worry about the fact that the two flavors are clashing. I can decide I'm a shorts person. Next day, I'm wearing vintage long baggy shorts.
That's beautiful.
Honey, as long as they're vintage.
Not everything is about self-branding, and you can be whoever you want on any given day.
Wow.
You have to decolonize your mind, and you have to order different cocktails on different days of the week.
Woo! That is so powerful. That really speaks to how we put ourselves in little cages.
It's so, and I've been like that since I was a kid. Just like, be like, well, I only wear khakis.
Yeah.
And guess what I'm wearing today?
Jane's.
Khakis.
Khakis.
I'm literally like, I'm just the exact same, just muted color palette, like grays and browns, soft browns and grays, and like, don't look at me. But
Well, I was thinking about it, actually, exactly what you were saying before, John, about the extended adolescence, because it is an adolescent impulse to be like, this is my favorite band.
yes,
This is how I dress.
Totally.
This is my vibe. Yes, in some ways, as you grow older, you gravitate towards a more specific personality, but you also can expand rather than contract.
Yes, totally.
Sure.
Much like the podcast today, I think was like a beautiful exercise in that we came on trying to critique straight culture via fermentation and ended up
Via Fermentation.
Beyonce album. Via fermentation.
I do think fermentation is an apt metaphor for expanding as you grow.
It is. And
As you
here
grow.
we are.
And becoming something different and more complex.
And alcoholic.
Right. Cheers to that.
Cheers,
folks.
girls. I love our martinis. Oh, we're having martinis on vacation. That's a given.
Oh my God, we're having you know what else though? I'm gonna make margaritas.
You didn't tell me where, right?
You're making margaritas, really?
I'm gonna make margaritas. We'll tell you off mic.
Can you tell me and then just bleep it out?
We're on.
That's so obvious. I cannot believe I didn't think that. I'm so stupid. That's
John, it's
amazing.
okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I
we're
think that's
very
brilliant.
excited. This is our first time really going on vacation together.
Yeah, could be drama.
Get ready.
Could be drama.
There will be drama.
We're going with our significant others and another gay couple.
That I've never met
couple.
before.
You never met them. Well, you actually
But maybe talked to
Chatted-
one on Scruff, I think.
chatted with one of them on Scruff. Whereas I've actually never seen either of them sexually.
I mean, I don't know if I saw him sexually. Maybe I was just being nice. Anyway, keep going.
Well, beep that.
beep that.
He
I'm
comes
not
back from
honest.
vacation. He's like, I'm going to listen to Sam's podcast.
He's like, I had so much fun getting to know him and having sex with him. And then it says,
Never thought of
He was just being nice.
that was a joke. I don't know. I actually don't know our relationship. It's been
We
years.
we haven't decided yet what your relationship will be.
Yeah.
But after a few margaritas / martinis, we'll check back in.
Wait, so did you say gin with a twist? Because that is my drink. And I need to let go.
So, this is actually another element of this. Right. So gin with a twist, that's the
Yeah.
mode I currently am in. After a lot of pretty much my entire 20s being vodka slightly dirty,
Yeah.
I then switched to gin with a twist.
I'm gin with olives.
But I miss olives.
I know.
I
me
love
too. I
get
miss
get
it.
olives in the gin, baby.
I know.
It's tough because then you hear from bartenders that gin it's like gin goes better with a twist. Vodka
They're trying to
goes better.
gatekeep. It's toxic.
I agree. And you know what else? You
What?
can get both.
You can literally get whatever. These people.
Yeah,
John.
I can't. Yeah, John.
John,
John,
whenever
please,
you're ready.
Okay.
please stop me.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
What's up, you guys? I'm John Early. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee,
Woo!
and but I've lived in New York primarily, and then just took a little turn in LA, hoping to come back to New York as soon as possible. I want to shout out Carrie Russell. I have recently finished all of The Americans, and I'm so stunned and so moved by her performance. She's taught me incredible things, about such as in the Iraq and Asian countries and she's taught me amazing things. She's taught me amazing things such as the power of control. A lot of actors really rely on being so loosey-goosey and kind of free spirits to emote, but I feel like Carrie Russell finds emotion through actually extreme control, and it's and she finds her way to a state of being uncontrolled through control. I also want to say she avoids cliche at every turn. She has never once been cliched, and she is so graceful, and there's something really beautiful about the way that she's also like a powerhouse TV actress, meaning there's a kind of element of being a workhorse involved that I find very moving and less glamorous than being a movie actress. Anyway, The Americans, I really want all my friends back home to check it out, and thank you guys so much.
Let's talk about respecting the craft. Okay. Now I've seen
Yeah.
everything.
I love her so much. I'm like madly in love with her right now. And obviously Felicity was huge for me, but The Americans, I'm like,
People say it's so good. I haven't
You know,
seen
The
it.
Americans is one of. Do you hear that?
No.
it's a pigeon. I hear it.
You don't hear it.
You can
it's
hear my
literally-
nail. You can hear
Anyway, it's actually nuts. They're truly like there are three of them fighting. I can see their. I'm not exaggerating. I can see their wings like slapping one another. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I wish I could turn the camera. Anyway, I have heard The Americans is one of those shows and one of those actually cultural products where it's like all people you think are like the smartest recommend it to you. Don't you feel?
I mean, it's like a kind of, it's an undersung prestige show.
Exactly,
It's like,
exactly.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
as good as it's as good as Mad Men, as good as Sopranos. I'm
It's
sorry.
good as Breaking Bad.
Ugh,
Uh-oh.
Never seen it, but never will.
I'm actually. All right,
Sorry. You must watch
Okay.
The Americans.
I will.
Okay.
I
And
will.
you'll
Done.
maybe think the first episode like, oh, this isn't really for me, and that's okay, and I'll kind of leave it. But you got to push through.
I think I did watch the first episode actually.
Yeah,
And
I
didn't
watched it a
watch
couple
more.
times. I was like, no. you know, and then
Do you
you
feel-
like it reveals itself. It's stunning.
Do you feel it's critical enough of like is it coming from a very American point of view?
No, that's what's
No,
also
okay.
deeply exciting. I mean, like it's
Interesting.
part of what's very exciting about it is it's like it's especially exotic to watch now post kind of Trump era and also the current war in Ukraine
Right,
because
right.
it's like it's very not Russophobic. It's like very much kind of like
Okay.
you know, sympathetic obviously towards communism. It's really exciting.
Wow.
And it's very has a very gentle and sometimes a very scathing critique of America too.
Well, I'm ready.
But it's mostly about family.
Which we can all get behind, no matter
We can all get
if you're
behind.
Democrat, Republican, or anything in between.
As queer people, we make our own family.
American Express.
So go out there and vote.
Get out there. If you're in line, stay in line. Thank you, John, for doing our podcast. It has been genuinely an honor. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm bored. It's been so fun, and we really appreciate you doing it.
Thank you. I'm going to upload my file, which is not what I should say on air.
No,
But,
this is a
I've
process
had-
pod. We like when people say stuff like
Yeah.
that.
No, it's been very, very meta too the whole time. I love you guys. This was so much fun. I feel like we went to unexpected places, much like the process of fermentation. And I'm going to take my fingernails and I'm going to put some apple cider vinegar on them and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sprinkle them on top of a taco.
Yeah, destigmatize fingernails
Destigmatize
and
fingernails.
embrace fermentation all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah. John,
Well,
it has been truly an honor.
Thank you.
I'm serious.
I did forget that your fingernails have been sitting in front of you the whole time. That is kind of a
They've
slight.
been in a teeny tiny little pile.
I love
Like
that. Take a,
like pretty matches.
John, can you take a picture that we
Do
can
you know
post on
what
our
that is?
Instagram?
Yeah.
Pretty matches.
John-
Oh, absolutely. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
But it Pretty Matches is Sarah Jessica Parker's production company, and on that, and that's when you cut out and cut to the music.
Okay. Okay, bye. No,
Bye.
okay, that's the end.
All right.
Wow.
Bye.